Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Batman action figure. This is Batman played by Robert Pattinson. I've been aggressively looking for these The Batman figures for at least a week now. I've been seeing reports online of people finding it at Target all across the country. I pulled up the Target app, got the DCPI number from Batman here. It's shared between the entire wave. I've been giving it to various Target stores, having them punch it in, finding out when the wave is coming. I struck gold today. Got the entire wave. Really excited to open these guys. So let's go and check out the packaging. 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, Batman, DC Multiverse based off the upcoming film, The Batman. Here's Batman the package. Looks like he has a grapnel launcher, collector's card, and display stand. One side of the pack, Batman from The Batman. Other side simply says Batman. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. On the back side, got Batman gliding out from what appears to be the police station. And here, a bunch of other The Batman McFarlane figures you should check out. So no further ado, let's open them up. And here are all three of the Batman figures that I picked up today. Really excited to open these guys up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a collector's card, a display stand, and his grapnel launcher. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Batman, played by Robert Pattinson in the upcoming The Batman film. Now Robert Pattinson, what a strange choice. And you know what? They did it just before Ben Affleck. Very controversial person with sort of a stigma attached to him. Robert Pattinson has the exact same thing. He's really only known for Twilight, although he's done a bunch of other good, dark, serious movies since then. An odd choice, but it looks like it's going to pay off. I'm getting more and more excited for this movie as each trailer drops. We're about a month out at this point, and I'm really excited to have the figures before the film comes out. This is McFarlane's first traditional live-action Batman in the 7-inch scale. Yes, they did Ben Affleck, but he's in his tactical suit, not in his regular suit. I would love it if they would give us a 7-inch Adam West, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and Robert Pattinson to have them all stay next to each other. Hell, go ahead and add Val Kilmer and George Clooney to the mix. So I'm sure we all have some mixed feelings about the visuals of the film. When the first trailer dropped, I wasn't sure if I liked it or didn't like it. Ended up really liking the sort of feel and style of the film. Dark, gritty, realistic. Some things in the film have reservations on. Second trailer had my doubts. Third trailer completely had me on board. So let's take a look at the figure. Starting with this cowl here, long ears, totally black, very sort of round in the forehead area. Definitely makes me think of the film. Kind of has it going sort of down here. Some just interesting details that I've now sort of associated with Robert Pattinson. The chin and lips look pretty spot on. He does have kind of that side-eyed look. I mean, he's looking over this direction. I really wish McFarlane would stop doing that. This bat symbol, I've read some weird things. Maybe it's made from the gun that killed his parents. I don't know. Double-jointed elbows, different sort of shoulder armor, and armor on his chest and torso area. It looks very nice. I'm not sure what these things are. Almost look like little spears they're going to be able to shoot out. Belt, ton of stuff on it. All kind of gear, gadgets, utility belt. This is sort of Batman's second year. He's in his early days of crime fighting still. A lot of stuff still looks homemade. It's pretty cool. I imagine if we get a trilogy, the stuff will evolve. Straps on one side. Double jointed knees, knee pads, boots. All looks very good. Definitely that part in the trailer where he's stepping right in front of you, very dramatically bringing on the Batman to screen. The way the cape connects, it looks cool. Cape itself, straight, flowing downward, soft material. You can see more stuff on his belt. Overall, really liking what they've done. I think they caught Batman from the film spot on so far. And just a closer look at his face or head sculpt. Definitely looking off to this side. Annoying, but not that big a deal. It's only noticeable, really, when you look up close like this. I like what I'm seeing so far. The aesthetic looks very similar to what I've seen in the trailers. Oh my God, Robert Pattinson. What are your side eyes looking at? What is to your left? Oh, it's her. Bella! And here he is, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, one peg for the peg holes on our feet, says DC at the bottom, very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the figure of Batman. He's grappling up the GCPD through a stairway. Batman from the Batman. On the backside, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 3 of them. You may be asking yourself, where did the third hand come from? This figure only had 2, did not have any interchangeable hands. Well, the right gripping hand came with the Batcycle from this film. I think it's kind of dumb that it came with the Batcycle, not the actual Batman. I think his flat hand that holds a grapnel launcher looks awful. I don't understand why it looks like that. Maybe in the movie he doesn't hold his grapnel launcher with a gripping hand, but I call BS there. This guy should have came with 2 gripping hands, and I guess that flat hand. Either way, the actual figure comes with these 2 hands. Then if you get the Batcycle, that middle hand comes with that. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are the 2 gripping hands. And here he is with his other right hand. This hand is sort of flat. It'll attach his grapnel launcher to it with a little peg into a hole in the hand. And I think it looks just kind of bad the way he's not exactly holding the grapnel launcher. Hand's sort of a flat hand. Could be kind of a karate chopping hand. These are the 2 hands that this figure comes with. A reminder, you have to get the Batcycle to have the right gripping hand. Here's his grapnel launcher. You can see mine's a little bit warped from the packaging, but it's a really easy fix. Now the grapnel launcher, you see the sort of handle part here. This is presumably the wire's going to be wrapped around and it'll launch out of here. It's got a peg that'll attach into his hand. So I went ahead and heated up some water to a boil, dipped the grapnel launcher in there, and it reverted to completely straight without me having to do anything. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to use his grapnel launcher. Don't really like how it looks in this hand. Doesn't look like he's actually holding it. Unless in the movie it sort of attaches his wrist and sort of slides up, and that's why it looks like this. If it's supposed to be held normally, they did a terrible job with this decision. I mean, don't misunderstand me. It looks better in his gripping hand, but it's sticking way too far up. So I'm assuming, since I haven't seen the film yet, that I just don't fully understand how he holds in the film. I mean, you have to point his wrist like downward for it to actually sort of be pointing the right direction. I'm guessing it's somehow attached to his hand and he doesn't hold in the traditional fashion. We'll find out on March 4th. And sure as shit, I rewatched the 3rd trailer, and that's exactly how the grapnel comes out. Looks like it launches from his sort of forearm, goes into his hand. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.0 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters, and if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.25 inches tall. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far, pretty nice. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders, on a ball joint, you got the shoulder pad, it's soft, it goes straight on top, it's not going to obstruct much. A little bit more than 90-degree bend, ball joint, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increase the range of motion there. Bicep cut below that, double jointed elbows. His wrist has a ball in it, can rotate, it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Pretty good range of motion here. Legs, completely does splits, not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation, not too bad, better than usual. They go forward about that much, back about that far. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle has a ball in it. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's this Batman in the Batcave as workbench with Alfred next to him. And here's Batman on the top of GCPD headquarters with Commissioner Gordon and the Bat Signal. And then, riding his bat cycle through the streets of Gotham City, a side view as Batman continues to ride through the streets of Gotham. And here's Batman on top of a rooftop overlooking Gotham. Here's Batman taking on what appears to be a group of Joker thugs. Not sure if they're actually Joker henchmen or not. Here's Batman beating the shit out of that thug while someone else is recording him. I'm vengeance. And then Batman embracing Catwoman on the rooftop. Here's Batman sneaking up on Riddler as he's sniping from the roof. And here's Batman and Commissioner Gordon walking down the hallway as a bunch of different law enforcement officers are looking at Batman, some with disgust, some with admiration, just like in the beginning of the first trailer. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is with the rest of his assortment. We have Catwoman, Batman, and the Riddler. There are many other figures we've seen for this movie upcoming. Catwoman unmasked, Batman unmasked, Drifter with the facial covering, the Penguin, the Bat Cycle, the Drifter Cycle. Looks like McFarlane is going all out for this movie. The only two big characters that I'm not seeing are Alfred and Commissioner Gordon. Of course, there could be many other characters. The film's not even out yet. Here's Batman standing next to his Bat Cycle, and here he is riding on the Bat Cycle. Then, next to the Ben Affleck Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is Batfleck in his tactical suit. I wish McFarlane would give us a Batfleck in a regular, traditional Batman outfit. Here he is, next to several different comic Batman figures. Then, next to several Batman figures from different various forms of media. Here's the Robert Pattinson Batman, next to the entire Justice League from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is another live-action incarnation of DC heroes. Zack Snyder's Justice League is part of the DC Cinematic Universe, and the Batman is a completely separate universe. Here he is, next to Arrow. Arrow's the only live-action DC figure that McFarlane has made besides the Batman figures. Arrow's from the CW's Arrowverse. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to Superboy Prime and the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman Blue Edition. And here, next to a couple of Lobo figures. Here's Batman, next to the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn and the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. And here he is, next to the recent released Batman 3 Joker's Wave. Then, next to Nightwing and a Red Hood from Gotham Knights. And here, next to a few Swamp Thing Mega figures. And finally, here he is, next to the Batman Who Laughs and the Robin Crow's 4-pack. Here's the Pattinson Batman, next to a DST or Diamond Select Toys, Jeffrey Wright as Bernard from Westworld. Now it doesn't look like McFarlane's going to be giving us a Commissioner Gordon figure, but this is the same actor playing a different character, and he's in more or less a regular suited body. And here he is, next to a DST or Diamond Select Toys, Gotham Alfred. Now this doesn't look like Andy Serkis, but it damn sure looks like a standard Alfred. Here's the McFarlane Pattinson Batman, next to a NECA Edward from Twilight. Edward is Robert Pattinson's most famous role, and it probably will still be the case after Batman comes out, but we'll see. Here's the Bat and the Cat, Batman and Catwoman, who appears to be his love interest in the film. Here's a NECA Edward and Bella from Twilight. Bella was Edward's love interest in Twilight. Here's a 7-inch version of every live incarnation of Batman. We have the Adam West Batman, Michael Keaton Batman, Christian Bale Batman, Ben Affleck Batman, and the Robert Pattinson Batman. Now it would be really cool to get a Val Kilmer or George Clooney in this scale. And I really hope one day we will get a Dark Knight Christian Bale in his regular costume and a Ben Affleck Batman in his regular costume. That's what I'm hoping to have eventually. All these guys in their regular, most standard suits. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix them with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked him out next to a bunch of McFarlane Batman figures, here he is next to some other McFarlane figures. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all of McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And here, with some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 collective Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex Batman figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, here he is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, this is a fantastic Batman figure. I think he looks just like Robert Pattinson from the film. Batsuit looks good. Almost looks better in figure form than on the film. Now, we have yet to see if the movie's going to be any good, but I have pretty good feelings we'll be very pleasantly surprised. This guy's sculpt and paint job are excellent. His articulation is everything you'd expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. The accessories, all he really gets is a gravity launcher, and I don't think it looks that good. My only real complaints about this guy, it's going to be his sort of shoulder armor can be kind of annoying. It doesn't always sort of fold in the way you'd expect it to. And then the side eyes. McFarlane, please stop with the side eyes on the figures. It's really not that bad on this guy, not super noticeable. But if you see it, it's very hard to unsee. It is horrible on some of the other releases they've made, though. If I were to rate this figure, I would give him a very solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm really enjoying this guy. I'm very happy we got these guys before the movie came out. Thank you, McFarlane, for doing this guy justice. No pun intended. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.